Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. Guys, I always say I've got an exciting video for you, but this one is super exciting. I'm sure many of you guys will be excited. I am hyped. I've finished work, I'm tired, but I really wanted to get this video out there today. So if you are a regular on the channel, you would have seen I put out a community post. If you follow me over on Twitter, I put out a tweet saying I am going to be showcasing 2 different cores over the next few days, and each one is going to be a multi-game core. So the first one we're going to have a look at, guys, is the Irem M72 core. Guys, I absolutely love this core. So this is a port of the MiSTer core. The original core was brought over to the MiSTer by none other than Martin Donlon, aka Wickerwaka, and it is being ported over as we speak by Marcus Jordon, aka the Boogermann. And guys, honestly, like, I can't praise this enough. When I first got into MiSTer, this is one of the cores that I really enjoyed playing. Now, just want to point out that everything you're seeing in this video isn't reflective of the final release. This is a work in progress. However, it's very close to the finishing line. So we're going to have a look at the first core now, and in a few days you're going to see the other one. I'm not going to reveal what it is. Feel free to speculate what it is. I'm sure you guys can take some educated guesses, but today we are looking at, and we're going to talk about M72. Now, there's some heavy hitters on here, and I'll mention some of the heavy hitters. The main game everyone will know above everything else likely is going to be R-Type, and R-Type 2 is in this as well. So not only have you got R-Type, you've got R-Type 2, guys. I mean, that's awesome. The rest of the games we'll kind of start talking through, and let's start having a look at some stuff. So let's begin with Air Duel. Now, this isn't a game I played in the arcades or anything. I do kind of like it, but it is a little bit tricky. It's a vertical shmup, and when you're firing, when you turn left or right, so your fire doesn't remain straight, your fire kind of goes like in a different direction, like 45 degrees left or right, and it's something that takes a little bit of getting used to. So it's the kind of game, if it was in my local arcade and I was playing it growing up, I'd be like, okay, I would get used to it. Kind of playing it now, it's a little bit difficult. Like, you can feel the quality of these games, guys. Irem made some excellent arcade games. I played some of them in the arcade, and I so played them on the PC Engine. There's some awesome games in there. We're going to have a look at, we're going to go through them, right? So this one is Air Duel. The next game we're going to look at is a game called MiSTer Heli, right? So this is MiSTer Heli no Dai-Bouken, also known as Battle Chopper. Now, I only discovered it was called Battle Chopper when a few years ago, or like I don't know, a year and a bit ago, I was going through like random emulation lists, and I loaded a game called Battle Chopper. It may have been main, may have been Final Burn Neo or Alpha, and I was like, hold on, this is MiSTer Heli. And then, you know, you kind of learn stuff, right? You have a Japanese name for a game, which is MiSTer Heli, then you find out the USA version is called Battle Chopper. But anyway, guys, this game is good. I never played this in the arcade. I played this on the PC Engine, and honestly, to my memory, it seems identical. It's great. It kind of reminds me of that game by Saigo called Fantasy Zone, where you're kind of flying around and you get power-ups and you get currency in there. I can't remember Fantasy Zone. I need to go back to it and play it again. I have got like the 3D version on my 3DS, but you've got a shot that fires straight, a shot that fires up. You can walk down on the ground like a cutie helicopter and you fire bombs, but effectively you go around the level, you fly around, you get currency, you get these crystals that give you money, and then shops spawn where you can get items. Guys, it's a fun game. I really like this on the PC Engine, and it's a great game to try out. And this system, honestly, it's amazing. There's so many good games on here. Now, the next game we're looking at is a game called Dragon Breed, guys. I love this game. I used to play this in the arcade, and I still remember it was one of those social clubs that was for like old guys. I always thought they were old Greek guys, but they could have been from anywhere, right? And I remember, like, one of my best friends, his mum said, I never want to see you go in a place like that, and he listened to his mum. I used to go in there, put my 20p in, play this game because I loved it, and he used to wait outside, you know, until I like lost my money. I only had like 1 or 2 credits, and I used to go out. Dragon Breed is fantastic. I don't know what it is about games where you're a dragon and you've got the tail that you can maneuver around you. Use that as a protective barrier. Use it to inflict harm on enemies. It's just awesome. The way it starts, the way you ride the dragon. I mean, who doesn't like dragons, right? You've got your fire, your normal fire, where you're tapping it and the guy on top of the dragon is firing. And when you do a charge shot, similar like to R-Type, where you hold down the fire button, then the dragon fires at his breath. You get power-ups, you go along, and it's great. It's nice to have that big sprite. And I'm pretty sure the original developer of this core, Martin Donlon, when he came for an interview on the channel, he mentioned there's later parts in this game where you actually get off the dragon. I've never actually got to that part, and that's a good reminder for me to actually progress further in this game. Now it's on the Analogue Pocket, and I can play it on my commute to work. I can play it in bed. I'm more likely to kind of like, I wouldn't say 1cc this game, maybe 10cc this game. But guys, Dragon Breed is fantastic. Right, next up, Armed Police Unit Gallop. Gallop is like the biggest writing on the title screen here. Now this is a horizontal shmup, and it will kind of remind you, because it's on the same hardware, it will kind of remind you of R-Type and whatnot. Now it's interesting, you've got your normal fire, and then you've got a laser that kind of like recharges. You get different power-ups. I don't know too much about this game. Again, I played it on the MiSTer. I will be playing these games a lot more now that they're available on the Analogue Pocket. It's a fantastic shmup. It plays well, it looks well, the backgrounds, the fire, your ship, especially I love the way police is written on your ship. I mean, it's not something I played in the arcade, to be honest. I think the first time I may have played it might have been when the M72 core was originally released for the MiSTer. But you know what, try it out. Again, fantastic games. Next up, guys, we have got Hammerin Harry, right? So this is known as Hammerin Harry. It's always difficult to find the list because the Japanese name is Daiku no Gensan. Now, Hammerin Harry is just one of those games that I remember being on holiday, and me and my cousin went into like some local area ghetto arcade, kind of areas we weren't supposed to go to, right? But you know, you're younger, you're reckless, and nothing actually bad happened to us. And I remember going in there and playing Hammerin Harry, guys. I fell in love with this game, and funnily enough, I was doing a PC Engine stream the other day on the Analogue Pocket, and I was looking for this on the PC Engine. I just kind of got my wires crossed where, because so many M72 games were ported over to the PC Engine, I was thinking Hammerin Harry was. And a big shout out to Retro Tuner, who told me it's not available for the PC Engine. So this is fantastic, guys. It's one of those walk along platformy kind of hit everything, hit stuff with your hammer. It just plays really, really well. It's very, very cute, and my cousin for years and years thought this was the best game I ever played. He thought it was my favorite game, and he'd always kind of tell me stuff about it. But Hammerin Harry's fantastic. Honestly, I can't wait for this to be released. Honestly, Boogermann said this is near the finishing line, so hopefully, guys, this will be out very, very soon. I can't speak for him. Hopefully there's no obstacles in the way, there's no last minute issues, there's no last minute bugs or anything. But guys, really can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it. I'm playing it now and I'm enjoying it. It is fantastic, but you know, when it's finished, guys. So next up, guys, is a game called Image Fight. Now, Image Fight is a shmup, like, so I'm not too familiar with this. Like, I think I said it originally when I done my MiSTer video on the M72 core, when I kind of first started covering FPGA gaming, and it's the kind of game I would have seen in the arcade, but I'm not sure. It might have been one of those I put one credit in and like kind of played once, right? But your second button isn't like a bomb. I think it changes your speeds. Do let me know in the comments below if you know more about this game and if you played this game. Like I always say, guys, I love hearing arcade stories. So again, not my favorite game on this, but by no means is it a bad game. It's just not something I played in the arcade. It's not something I've got nostalgia for. It doesn't feel like a bad game at all. It's just there's other games that I prefer in here, right? If you have to put them into some kind of hierarchy. However, the next game, guys, I love this game, The Legend of Hero Tonma. I played it, I can't remember if I played it on the PC Engine first or the arcade, but guys, as soon as I played this game, I just fell in love with it. I got those Willow vibes from it. Remember CPS1 Willow, made by Capcom? You know where you're the dwarf, the little guy running around, right? Kind of reminds me of that. Now, this game is challenging, it's difficult, but man, is it good. And like where you can see, this is a work in progress. When I was kind of getting my shield, the shield wasn't quite staying, so not exactly not sure what was going on there. Whether I got the shield, I still had the effect of the shield, but it kind of disappeared. But it kind of, you know, felt like something wasn't exactly right there. But Boogermann's working like hard on this, so guys, we will be getting a release, right? So Legend of Hero Tonma, guys, fantastic game. Play it now if you like those kind of I don't know, platformy, similar to kind of like maybe something like Toki. There's a whole bunch of games like that. You can't change the direction of your fire or anything, but you can come down the platform by moving it down and jump, Shinobi style. You know what I mean, guys. But again, an absolutely fantastic game. Loved it in the arcade. When I play the Irem M72, guys, I get goosebumps because a large part of these games I played on the arcade, I played on the PC Engine. It represents a time in my life where I was growing up and things were just simpler, things were nice, guys. You know, I didn't have the responsibilities that I have now. It was just play games, chill, and sheer awesomeness, right? And wow, going again for the next game now is Ninja Spirit, also known as Saigo no Nindou. Now, before I talk about this, I've got to give the Game Boy DMG version a big shout. If you haven't tried that one, try that one out. I'm a big fan of the Game Boy DMG, but you know what, even though that's awesome, nothing beats the arcade version, right? The PC Engine version is fantastic, but arcade usually is arcade, right? Now, this game is another game that I fell in love with. You've got your ninja. Think about getting options in Nemesis. You get options in here, but it's another ninja. So you've got 4 different weapons. And you start off with those 4 different weapons, guys. You've got a sword, you've got ninja stars, you've got like these bombs, and you've got like a kind of grappling hook thing, right? The grappling hook thing is the most fun. You can kind of fire it away, rotate it around yourself. Guys, honestly, this game is wicked. Like, I used to play on the PC Engine. I used to get quite far in it, and I remember MiSTer Walrus, who's very, very good at 1cc in games, us talking about the game and him saying that part is cheap, where you get to a level where you kind of jump down and there's a whole bunch of ninjas holding their swords up and you have to navigate your way all the way through to the bottom without getting touched. Now, that bit frustrated me as a kid. I just couldn't do it. And in the arcade version, I'm sure it's there. I actually ended up watching like a YouTube video to see if it was possible to get done. It is possible to get done. I just never done it. Maybe I'll attempt that now. But Ninja Spirit is fantastic. It just plays really, really well. Your different weapons, different strategies. Like when you're running along here, there's like this dude at the bottom of the platform that's kind of whacking you out, and I think the only weapon you can kill him with is the sword, like a down attack with a sword. But guys, honestly, like, try this game out. This is just such a wicked system. Ninja Spirit is just a wicked game, and the soundtrack for this is just banging. Okay, next up, guys, what have we got? We have got R-Type. Likely or possibly, it might be the granddaddy of all horizontal shmups, right? I mean, it's one where I always say I've never played a bad version of R-Type, and whichever version I play, I recently tried the MSX version. That was courtesy of Boogermann as well, because he ported the MSX core over. That's still to be released, but I was able to get an early version of that. Loved it. Loved the Spectrum version, the Game Boy version, the Amiga version. The PC Engine version, wherever you've got R-Type is fantastic. And you know what? The pinnacle of it is always the arcade version. Now, guys, R-Type is wicked. Now, excuse my gameplay throughout all of this. I can't tell you the lengths I went to get this video out because I was excited about it. Before I went to work, I had 45 minutes. In that 45 minutes, I shot all this footage, but then I had to go to work. Now, as soon as I got back from work, all I did was I just come in and I've done this voiceover. I had a coffee first, and I think it kicked in during this video because I feel like I may be speaking faster than I normally speak. But R-Type is R-Type, right? You got your pods, you got your bouncy laser power-ups. It's just amazing. And the first boss fight is epic. Fortunately, I didn't have time to get to that while shooting this video, but R-Type is R-Type. Soundtrack's wicked, gameplay's wicked, boom. And if you thought R-Type was enough, well, no, guys, we have R-Type 2 as well as part of this core, and I love R-Type 2. R-Type 1 will always be the daddy, but I like all of them. I like R-Type 1, I like R-Type 2, and I like R-Type Leo. Those are like my favorite R-Type games. Now, I love those little things which they kind of look like Mr. Heli's cousins, right? Like popping up and firing those missiles at you. I didn't get it into this video, but a little bit of trivia for you, right? If you play R-Type 1, the first boss that you get is actually the first boss in R-Type 2, but he's actually armored up, which is really, really funny, right? Because it's like he got beaten in the first one and this time he's ready with some armor. But you know what? Yeah, you can still beat him, right? R-Type 2, again, fantastic. R-Type 1 and 2, but one of the daddies, right? It's difficult to say what the best horizontal shmups are because I do like a lot of the Konami stuff, like the Gradius, Nemesis, Salamander games. And the final game we're having a look at, and hope I have covered all of them, is a game called X Multiply. Guys, this game, when I played it was tough, and this being the last game I was testing out, I was looking at the clock and I was like, man, I really need to get to work. Just for reference, I made it to work 8 minutes before my start time, so all was good. But this was like the last one. So this again is a horizontal shmup. It's not something that I played in the arcade, and I do find it quite challenging. Don't have any nostalgia for it. In this core, I'll be playing R-Type, and I'll be playing even like Gallop. This one I'll try out. There's nothing wrong with the game. It's a fantastic game. I think I've actually seen this game in the arcade, but you know when you used to go to those big arcades and it was like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, maybe even close to 100 different cabinets there, right? That was the late 80s. Pardon me. I'm not going to edit out that cough. I want to do this in one blast. Sorry, not the cough, clearing my throat there. So I remember I used to go to a bowling alley. It had so many arcade machines in there, and I used to see games there that I never played, right? Because funds were limited. I think I saw X Multiply there. So that's it for this call, guys. I was super excited about it. Look out for a video in another few days. I've got quite a lot of work ahead of me this weekend, but anytime I get in between, guys, rest assured I'll capture the footage and I'll be pumping out the videos, because you know what, that is what Pixel Cherry Ninja does. But a massive thank you out to Martin Donlon, aka Wickerwaka, for originally developing these calls and bringing them over to MiSTer, and I think he's still working on making them even more accurate based on some conversations I had with Wickerwaka. And a massive shout out to Marcus Jordon, aka Boogermann, for porting these over to the Analogue Pocket. Hopefully there'll be a public release soon. You guys can enjoy them, whether you add them manually, whether they get, well, they'll make it to the updaters once they kind of get released. So it's a great system, guys, and you know what, the Analogue Pocket is just wicked, right? Don't get me wrong, when it comes to TV gaming and being more versatile, I prefer the MiSTer. But let's say I never had the MiSTer and the main thing I wanted was CPS2 and say SNES. The Analogue Pocket is just a great choice. Once you've got the dock for that, it's brilliant. I sure hope that in a new firmware update or whatever it takes, we can configure two-player controls, because when you're playing two players, you can't configure two-player controls. Now, on the whole part, it can be okay for most games, but if you're playing like 6-button games, or you want to play something a little bit different and the controls are not to your liking, you can't change them yet, but things are getting better and better for the Analogue Pocket. Honestly, guys, it's a fantastic system. Super happy that I bought it. We've got excellent people bringing over excellent calls for it, and guys, there's a lot of stuff happening for it. Some of the stuff obviously I'll reveal to you guys, some of the stuff I can't reveal. I'd always recommend, if I do a live stream, guys, tune into that, because if there's information I can give you guys that I may not necessarily share in a weekly news video or anything, I do it in the live streams, right? And it's a great kind of place to hang out. But that's it for this video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up and a subscription, as turning on those notification bells really does help the channel. Also, channel merch is available if you want to go that extra mile and support the channel. But that's it, guys. Be good to one another, guys. Take care of one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.